If God were to award a gold medal, how could we be sure that we would win? That's coming up next on The Beat. Hey everyone, my name is Allen Parr. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Here on The Beat, we release a new video every single Tuesday, and this week is Olympic week. And so if you are anything like me, your eyes have been glued to the TV watching some random sports that you would normally not watch. Why? Because it is Olympic season. Our text today comes from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9, but before we look at the text, it's helpful to understand that in the city of Corinth, every 2 years they held something similar to what we call the Olympic Games. And so Paul, knowing that his audience was well familiar with the games, he uses this analogy of athletics. And so today I want to point out 3 things that we desperately need to possess if we are going to win at life. Number 1 is determination. Notice Paul says here, do you not know that in a race, everybody is running, but only one person gets the prize? And he then goes on to say, you run your race in such a way where you would win the prize. What makes Olympic athletes so great is that they do not allow their injuries, their failures, or their haters to distract or deter them from reaching their goal. This dude, Mo Farah, fell down in the middle of his race, got back up, and then still won his race. What is the lesson? If we want to win at life, we cannot allow our fears, our fatigue, our failures, our distractions, our disappointments, and our discouragements or any other temporary setback to hinder us or distract us from fulfilling God's purpose on our lives. Why? Because Paul says Olympians do this to get some reward that's eventually going to burn up and perish, but we do it to get rewards that are going to last for eternity, which is the reason why we have to be careful not to give more time, energy, and attention to our careers than we do our calling. The second quality that we must possess is discipline. Notice Paul says here that every athlete who competes in the games enters into strict training. And so the idea here is that these Olympic athletes are great because they are willing, dedicated, and disciplined to put in the hours every day to be great at their sport. And if we are going to win and be successful in life, we must be willing and disciplined to put in hours every single day, working on our business, working on our ideas, working on our crafts, so we can fulfill God's purpose for our lives. I want to give you 3 questions that I want you to consider every single day. Number 1, what do I want to accomplish? And so this involves having a clear vision for your life. Number 2, how am I going to get there? This is your strategy. This is your action plan. And number 3, how will I know that I've gotten there? This is your assessment. This is for you to figure out what is a win for you. And so my challenge to you is, if you are serious about fulfilling your calling and building the idea that God has put on your heart, there should not be a day that goes by where you do not do something that relates back to these 3 questions. And so the third quality that we need to possess if we're going to win in life is to have a clear direction for our lives. Notice Paul says here that when I run with purpose in every step. I'm not just shadow boxing, beating the air. And so the idea here is that gymnasts are not trying to be swimmers, and swimmers are not trying to be golfers. So if we want to win in life, we have to find that one thing that we know for sure that God has called us to. So I want to give you 3 questions I want you to consider. First of all, what are the gifts that God has given me? Second of all, what are the pains that God has allowed me to experience in my life that I can now help somebody else through? And number 3, what are the things that people have affirmed in my life again and again? The more things that you are trying to be great at, the less you will be effective at all of them. Now, I wish the passage ended here, but there's one more D that I want to bring to your attention, and that is this idea of being disqualified. Notice Paul says here, I beat my body, I discipline myself so that after I preach to everybody else, I myself will not be disqualified. And so the idea here is that if we do not discipline our bodies and deny ourselves from the fleshly desires that we want to do that we know are not good for us, we will ultimately miss out on opportunities to succeed in life, and we will fail to experience God's best plan for our lives. If you found this video helpful in any way, feel free to share it with a friend. Also, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Check out some of the other videos while you are there. Hey, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on The Beat.